Anyway, I'm happy to introduce Kamenna Lee to everyone. She's training at the Shobukan Dojo. When I first met her, I thought to myself, this young lady's going to be a ball of fire, and she's proven me to be, my judgment was completely correct. She is dynamic, she is joyful, and she is an amazing ukemi person. She's just incredible to work with. So I'm going to just turn it right over to Kamenna Lee and have a good time, honey. Good luck.
Hi, Kamenna Sensei. I'm sorry we'll be a minute. We're just trying to get some network bandwidth issues dealt with. So we'll be there shortly. Can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
You're good.
Okay, it doesn't sound like Lisa can hear me, but maybe everybody else can. Do you guys want to do thumbs up? Okay, yeah. All right. Well, it's a pleasure and an honor and a humbling experience to be here, and many of the teachers are my senpai from when I started in Aikido. So I really feel very humbled to be here with everyone from around the country and really the globe today. So I wanted to spend the next 30 minutes on the concept of Misogi in a virtual world because, well, first of all, Misogi, the Japanese term means purification. And in its most basic concept, at the body level, it's a good sweat, right? But in the art of Aikido, where it is mind, body, and spirit integration, I think the real challenge in a virtual training is how to get that going, how to get your ki flowing and your mind and body and your energy purified. And I know many of us have the experience of being at the dojo. Yes, we're touching each other and we take a lot of ukemi and we move a lot. And in the process, there's this integrative, energetic process that is very purifying. And we come out and your mind is clear and your body is energized. So how do you create that experience in a virtual setting? So what I'd like to think about today, the next 30 minutes, is really probably more about a format of training in a virtual world where you can tap into that Aiki power and Aiki feeling and come out feeling the same mind, body, or at least close to the same mind, body purification. So we're about to bow in. I would recommend, I saw a number of people are outside. Many of the exercises I'll show are on the ground. So if that's the case, I will verbally cue some options if you're outside or in your garage and you're not able to go on the ground. If you do have a yoga mat or a carpet or a blanket, that's going to help a little bit. But the most fundamental concept that I want to work with today is cycling your energy so that it's functioning in that purifying way for mind and body and coming out sort of in a holistic way. So with that, I'm done with the introduction. We're going to bow in. Onegaishimasu. So we'll start with a little bit of stretching. We'll start with a little stretching if you're on the ground. If not, you can do some of these standing up. Let's go ahead and start with side to side. And to the right. And to the middle, and if you're standing up, you can be doing the same thing, just reaching to your left toes, right toes in the middle. So left toe stretch, right toe stretch, and the middle. Rise through the crown of your head, twist your spine, look back, lengthen, expanding your energy, look back. Again, look up and back, creating a nice, lively movement in your spine, legs together, stretch just a little bit forward. So again, don't curve up through the crown, pivot at your hips. So you're always lengthening. Bring your feet in. And bring your feet out. And again, lengthen and stretch. In a lot of your Aikido practice, you want to keep coming back to this feeling of stretching. All right, so we'll do a little bit of back and forth, just back roll and up, just to kind of get the feeling of your body. Now for me, coming back to this place of gentle movement, it's a very centering and calming place. It builds your core. And sometimes as we go through the various exercises, Saburi, we're going to keep coming back here and finding our centeredness and our comfort with the ground. On the next one, come a little bit over your foot. So you're warming up the knees. So one of the things I find in virtual training, keep going, is I'm doing a lot of weapons work. I'm doing a lot of Saburi cuts. And sometimes at the end of it, I feel, even as I drop my center, that I sometimes build some rigidity in my body. So this type of movement allows me to bring some flexibility. On the next one, we're going to come all the way up and down and up. Start coming in Hanmi and down, coming up in Hanmi and down, up in Hanmi. So one of the things you're beginning to practice is intention. So you're not just moving. This is not just a physical exercise, right? Just like in the dojo, it isn't. It's presence. You're coming up and you're ready. You go down, you come up and you're ready. Immediately ready. Immediately ready. If you're not able to go down because you're in the yard, feel free to just keep switching Hanmi and stay at the ready. That's okay. If you can go down, please do. And come up. Bring it with some breathing. In through the nose. Expand, stretch your joints into the middle. Again. Of course, breathing is a really important part of that Misogi. Bring it to your center. Again. And as you think about your training, you can then go back and do a couple of more up and down. So you're maintaining a couple more. And you can bring it back to the middle. More. So I will run all of the exercises a little faster than in a normal class, or a little shorter, I should say, not faster, just because we only have 30 minutes. But when you're doing your own training, you can expand each section to continue to build your energy. So I want to move to rowing exercise. So Funakoki, in solo practice, I think this training exercise is so powerful. So find your line of movement. In its essence, Funakoki is cycling of the energy. And what Saotome Sensei, my teacher, what he has shared from his training at Harvard Dojo with O Sensei is sometimes they will go at 6 o'clock in the morning and O Sensei would have them do Funakoki for half an hour. And by the time that's over, they're all like drenched in sweat. So how much energy can you build in your core? We've heard a lot about your core power from all of the instructors yesterday, today. So one thing that really helps me when we think about, and then we'll keep doing some more funakoki, I'll ask, I have a partner here, is how do you do funakoki with a lot of energy generation? So, thank you. So this idea of being able to have 200 pounds, 180 pounds at your wrist, or moving through a very viscous kind of substance, do you have that kind of power? All right, so left foot forward. Isa, 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 Isa. Is somebody 180 pounds still hanging onto your wrist? And are you able to move? Isa, Isa, Isa. We're going to go a little faster. Isa, 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 Isa. And bring it in the middle. So this portion of the training is relaxing after generating all that power. Can you relax into it? Take away all thought. This allows your body to vibrate from the back of your feet to the top of your head. And if you're not feeling that vibration yet, move your weight to the balls of your feet so that your center is not kind of blocking the full vibration. And move with the right foot forward. Again, find your line of core engagement, your range of motion. Visualize that viscous substance you have to move through, so it's not. One thing, again, Saotome Sensei says a lot, is attention. Attention. Like you would watch us train in the dojo and he would just say attention. And I think this is, in virtual training, really important because you have to be purposeful. Yee-ho, 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 yee-ho. And bring it in. Again, when you're training on your own, you can go a lot longer. All right, so we're going to take that same feeling we had and we'll do Rimi Tenkan. So basic enough, but if you keep your mind down and your initial step goes down, not up, and what you want to preserve is that sense of cycling the energy. Now, one other word I hear a lot in my training is image training. So what kind of image are you holding? Attackers coming? I'm not there. So instead of just moving in the empty space, really visualize attackers coming. All right, so on the next one, attackers coming, you're doing a Tenkan, and then we actually did this technique yesterday. You're going to step through for a technique that looks familiar like Kokyunage, may I? So to help with the visualization, actually let's do this way. Tenkan. And in regular practice, if I disconnect, I find a big 6 foot tall guy here and I can't move. So in this practice, turn, stay low, right? So I'll demonstrate one more time, right? You're gonna step Tenkan, step through, but the part you're really practicing is this core movement coming through. So in solo practice, it's Tenkan, step through, don't come up. Work through that viscous substance of your partner's presence and feel it even though you're alone. And if you stay low, that energy continues to flow. So Tenkan, stay low, continue to transfer without interruption your movement. Tenkan, step through, essentially behind my partner, transfer and weight energy without interrupting the continuity. And that image training is incredibly powerful. Then eventually when you get into the mat, onto the mat, you remain in the center. So now that we've done that a little bit, I can visualize my partner doing this, and I'm right here at the elbow trying to take view Cami. So in the online trainings that I've been leading for my dojo is we constantly alternate the nage and the uke part. So now it's time to take Cami. Somebody's in my face, take the roll, come up and hand me ready. We'll do about 10 of those. So keep going at your pace. Keep going. I'm just going to watch for a moment. Yeah, and if you happen to have a partner, feel free to do the paired exercise. I saw a couple of people have partners. This kind of training really allows for that to be okay. So come back for just a moment. So as I mentioned, it's really important to have image training and not to let your mind wander. So that at the end of your half hour, at the end of your hour, you have this integrated feeling that I think is really part of the Misogi. So for example, you can do, let me do this way. You can do forward roll, and then immediately backward roll. And you can do it as an exercise where you can have an intent. Forward roll. Oh, there is somebody here. There's an obstacle. There's a reason for me to immediately change. Switch. Oh, there's something here. So involving a little bit imagination can really add intensity to your training and maybe even take you a little bit out of the comfort zone, even in your own house. So let's do it for just a moment. Forward roll if you can. Again, I can't see you all, so please be safe. If all you can do is backward rolls, that's okay. But visualize that need to change abruptly and make a change. you have a bokken, grab your bokken for just a moment. I love Saburi's training as a form of Misogi. So we'll start with horse stance and just nice cuts. Now, when we do our online classes, we may do a couple of hundred of these. For the purposes of this class, we'll do fewer. But again, your mind is clean, clean. You're thinking of nothing else. It comes up through your center, bottom hands driving. And my philosophy on this is we should all get back to the dojo stronger. So if that means 1,000 cuts a day, that's a great opportunity. Make sure you're breathing with your cuts. And when you get to the point where your legs are burning a little, come back to the ground. So you can do back rolls or back falls and find your flexible core willing to move. And now I'm feeling a little more relaxed. Adjust this and share another exercise with you for training. So here's another Saotome Sensei favorite. He likes to say when we are like, Sensei, we want hard training. We want koshis. And he would say, you want hard training? Hanmi. Now stay there. So how do you bring your cycling of energy and experience into this? So one thing that I find very helpful, Eugene, may I ask for your help again? Is this is my hanmi. My partner can push on my elbow, and I know I have to weight underside, relax fingers, but extending that sense of unbendable arm. If my partner's not here, it's the same feeling. I visualize the push, so drop. Switch hanmi without coming up. Again, somebody's pushing on the back of you. So how are you going to redistribute that movement? Tail drop, tailbone is dropping. Upper crown is extending. When that push comes, it's a tension-agi feeling up and down. Somebody comes and pushes on my chest. Same thing, tension-agi up and down. Switch feet without coming up. Switch feet without coming up. And switch one more time. Now, one thing we've been doing in our classes, which I don't normally do in the dojo, is jump squats to build exactly that kind of dynamic power so that this type of exercise doesn't feel limiting, right? So if I need to be here and move quickly, and hanmi. So come back, jump squat. Now in a dojo setting, I usually have to move from here because the partner is attacking me. This is just a way to build really energetic strength and flexibility. One more, and back in hanmi. When you come back, Breathe. You can also do the breathing in a tenshi shape. And bring it in. And then for the last part of class, we're going to come into Sasa. By the way, I will quickly share one exercise that I think is great. We won't spend much time on it today. And that is from Swariwaza up. Back to Swariwaza, up. Swariwaza, up. So really good strength building in the legs for that intentional movement without a second thought. Your body's already ready. But for today, I want to come in Sasa. I want to take just a moment, breathe, and feel, hopefully you're feeling some energy coursing through your body, some purification of extraneous thought in your core. And now feel that core. And I'm going to come a little closer here, not in Sasa so you can see it, but while you're in Sasa, without moving your feet, because they're in Sasa, without moving your body, see if you can create movement in your core. Right? So this can be it's the source of power, but it's an independent agent within our body. So when you get to this place and you see in this exercise, what's moving is not your arms. For a moment, the arms can even stay where they are and feel the movement in your core. Right? Now, as part of training, you can make circles. You can make figure eights. Now reverse the direction of the figure eights. So this is all, I think, strong training to understand how energy moves through our body. So when you get to this exercise, it's coming, it's sourcing from the earth, directed through your core and expressed through the bottom pinkies. And now what's really helpful for me is, I'll pick somebody who is on my screen, Janice. Janice, I see you. And I'm gonna move with you. And sometimes timing can be difficult, so you may have to slow it down, but my intent is very connected. Again, those of you who are in pairs, feel free to join up. And align to your breathing. So we've started to experiment with using the screen, not just as a screen, but really even sometimes in kata to pair up with someone. Yeah, I got out of sync with Janice. There we go. And you really can feel some of the connection that sometimes can be missing. All right, with that, we'll bring it in. I want to spend just a minute in quiet time. Feel free to close your eyes or half close. I will give a verbal cue. And just feel your body experience right now and your mind. Okay, let's come back together and we will bow to each other. Domo arigatou gozaimashita.
Domo arigatou gozaimashita. Thank you very much, Kamenna Sensei, for a most vigorous class. I followed along for a little bit and then I had to surrender. Believe it or not, we don't have anything that I see on my chat screen. So either my screen's not receiving questions or, oh wait, there we go. We got a couple of people sending you their thanks and their love. I'm sure you've inspired people to get out there and start training. And as I really liked your idea, let's go back to the dojo stronger than when we went and then we came. Would you help me out? I do have a question. What is your background? Did you do another art before you started Aikido? I've never asked you this.
No, I didn't. I went to an Aikido club in college and it was love at first sight. And I thought I would want to explore other things and quite frankly in other dojos. But I just fell in love with Aikido. So here we are 30 some years later.
Okay. We're getting lots of wonderful compliments. This is really great to see. How do you integrate your sword work with the physical work? I saw you doing, you're doing the suburi. Do you do others? Do you do repeated kata? Do you work in something like that?
Yeah, so we've been doing a lot. And again, there's, to me, two parts that you can do really in solo training with that. One is suburi and one is just the kata movement coming from the right place. In fact, if I'm going to show, I think yesterday this exercise came up, which is this kind of cut. So it comes, and that's a suburi that usually involves another person block interaction. Then you also do a specific cut in fact.
Yeah. Kamenna Sensei, could you check your audio? We're having a really garbled sound.
Yes, that's too far away. Well, I think the point is, yes, there's definitely some kata. Can you hear me now? Hello?
No, you're still garbled, honey.
Okay.
I heard you just fine when you were teaching, so I'm not sure why it's gone south.
Can somebody else tell me if you guys can hear me? Hello? Hello?
I can hear you, but you're very garbled.
I can answer some of the questions in the chat.
Okay. One question is, did you study Misogi when you were in Japan? I know you spent a little time there.
Can you hear me now? Shall I answer verbally? So.
I'll go ahead and answer verbally. It's a little garbled, but I think it's you can figure it out.
Okay. No, I was in Japan very briefly. So most of my study and training has been at Saotome Sensei's dojo.
Okay. There was another question about your footwork and your foot position and your weight distribution. That would be easy, I think, for you to show.
Yeah, so when I think about footwork, I really think that my center is being suspended so that my feet can move. So the concept for me is freedom of the limbs. And my energy emanates from a core. And then everything else is in service of that movement, including, frankly, my feet. I can generate power through the feet, but in overall Aikido training, I don't want to have stuck feet. And I don't want to have back foot weighted, forward foot weighted. I want freedom in my movement to be able to move and redistribute the energy.
Good. How do you work with people who, and this is a good question, how do you work with people rolling in a small space?
It's a great question. So first of all, the key to me is the willingness to move more so than the actual roll. So even if all you're doing is willing to go down. If you're going to feel this energy, go down. If you have a little bit of space, come back. In the dojo, we also do exercises. How small can you make your roll? So if I have a tiny little space like a yoga mat, I see how tight I can hold my core. So, but again, the key training isn't even necessarily the role. It is the willingness to move with when faced with an obstacle, an aggression, a need to change, the ability to flexibly move and be willing. So again, even if you're just going down, I got it.
I concur. Leg strength's really important when you're falling. Have you had anyone go through the meaning of the sounds that we make when we do the rowing exercises? And so and things like that. Has Sensei ever talked to you about what the meaning was?
Most of my exposure to that has actually been through Lee Sensei, who is in the Yamaguchi Sensei lineage. He's really spoken of it in terms of the Kododama heritage. I'm by no means myself an expert, but I do think it's important that those sounds come from the center, and they are different. They're E, I, A, and they develop different energy in the body, but quite frankly, the details of that are probably above my pay grade. I have studied with Lisa Sensei, who really has helped me understand that it's the whole Kododama sounding is an important part of training development.
Okay, good. That'd be something to talk to him about sometime. Actually, what we have here is my last my last question would be, do you change something after you finish teaching it? Do you find that you need to go back and look at something again and refurbish it or polish it? That's a good question.
All the time. Well, first of all, even in the dojo, most of the time, everything doesn't work. So you have to always continue to, I mean, again, Sensei has always said, my best teacher is my student. So you're going to find people with different energies. So yes, I'm having to refurbish and change all the time. But in the context of virtual training, we actually have feedback sessions at the end of each class. And as I try new exercises or new training practices, I get feedback. And I learn sometimes it's too fast. Sometimes too much verbiage interferes with the training experience. Sometimes not enough actually doesn't help you stay connected because it's just a screen. So we've had, like usually in an Aikido dojo, you don't give the teacher feedback, right? But in this virtual setting, it's been wonderful. We've had debriefing sessions after every class, and I've learned something of what worked and what didn't in every class.
That's great. You've gotten some wonderful comments. I can't wait for you to have a chance to read all the chat. People really liked your class, Kamenna Sensei, and as always, your energy level is monster. And Jamie Sensei, since we're done with questions, are we ready to wrap this up? And I will thank Kamenna Sensei and everybody who watched class. I am really glad I could see it. And I hope to catch you for some Washington, D.C. virtual classes in the future.
Absolutely. Wow. Thank you. Thank you, Kamenna Sensei. That was really, really excellent. Gave us all a lot to work on. And thank you, Wendy Sensei. That was just awesome. So if you're just joining us, welcome. Wendy Palmer Sensei is up next. But something I wanted to say, I loved your showing the your pelvis and hips. I did some of that work in my class, and different senseis have been really connecting and directing people to feel their center, feel their hips and pelvis. Varjan Shihan talked about, flex in the spine. And it's one of the things that's happening on Zoom, being virtual, is that we're getting to see each other's classes and how we train, and to emphasize things and go, wow, I'm doing that, I'm doing that. And I think it's great for all of us as teachers and as students to get a lot of confirmation and more direction to these things. So thank you for that. That really was great. Exciting.
Thank you. Again, thank you for the opportunity. Hi, Wendy Sensei.
Absolutely. Okay, well,
I'll see you soon.
5 minutes. Yeah. We have 5 minutes break, everybody. And again, Wendy Palmer Sensei is up next. We'll be starting in 5 minutes. I also just wanted to say, a lot of people have registered with a donation. Some people, you've just been all so generous. Thank you so very much. Enabled people to pay at the levels they can, to enable some people to come on for free, so that we've had accessibility for everyone. Just thank you, thank you, thank you. And I think we're all appreciating the quality of instruction, the panels, everything that's going on here that's so special this weekend. And we do want to say that our donation page continues to be open and will for a couple days, I believe, after the seminar. Again, thank you for all your generosity. It's going to help pay for the teachers, a few of our expenses, and we have a substantial donation that we'll be making to Black Lives Matter. So thank you for all of your generosity. And we'll be back in 4 minutes with our next class.